Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We have an AMC problem. At least as of right now, AMC stock is down 10.2% here and after hours. Now, by the time you guys see this video, AMC stock could be up big or be down even more than this. I talked about this over and over and over again here on the channel. The only thing that gets AMC stock to go higher is a commitment not to dilute shareholders. So here in this video, we're going to go over the numbers, the statement that came out from ARON, and my thoughts around this. Now, on the earnings call, which could, happen towards the middle or the end of the earnings call, even in about an hour or two from now, we're going to hopefully get new information. ARON said on his X account not that long ago that essentially he's going to have a lot to say on the earnings call. That got a lot of people excited for who knows what. The numbers that AMC put up, I mean, they're not going to get people overly optimistic about AMC, right? There's always that prospect of dilution right around the corner when it comes to AMC. So here are the numbers. Total revenues grew 23% to $4.81 billion compared to $3.91 billion for 2022. Net loss improved $577 million to $396.6 million, including a non-cash impairment charge related to long-living assets of $106.9 million. Says adjusted net loss was $318.8 million, an improvement of $409.1 million. Now, these are full year 2023 numbers. Now, fourth quarter, total revenues grew 11.5% to $1.104 billion, compared to $990.9 million for 2022. Net loss improved to $182 million, including a non-cash impairment charge related to long-lived assets of $106.9 million, compared to a loss of $287.7 million for 2022, which included a non-cash impairment charge with a long-lived assets of $133.1 million. Adjusted net loss was $118.6 million, an improvement of $34.3 million compared to 2022. Net loss per diluted share was 83 cents compared to $2.64 in the year ago quarter. Adjusted net loss per diluted share was 54 cents compared to $1.40 in the same quarter last year. Adjusted EBITDA increased 193% to $42.5 million compared to $14.5 million for 2022. Net cash used in operating activities was $77.8 million. Non-GAAP operating cash generated cash burn was $0.8 million. And cash and cash equivalents as of December 31st, 2023 was $884.3 million. So these numbers, they're just fine. Believe that or not, just fine. AMC reports Q4 adjusted EPS of 54 cents. The consensus was a loss per share of 69 cents. So that beat. Revenue came in at $1.1 billion versus $1.05 billion as the consensus. So that was a $50 million beat as well on top line and a better than expected EPS. So less losses than what some people were expecting. Now, ARON, AMC's chairman and CEO, said, quote, AMC reported strong results for both the fourth quarter and full year of 2023, once again exceeding Wall Street's consensus expectations. It was another full year of continued meaningful recovery from the aftermath of the 2020 pandemic, as evidenced by AMC's full year 2023 revenues growing by 23% over 2022, and AMC's adjusted EBITDA growing by some 9 times from $46.6 million in 2022 to $425.8 million in 2023. AMC's revenue and adjusted EBITDA for 2023 were the strongest since pre-pandemic 2019, and for the first time post-pandemic, AMC delivered positive adjusted EBITDA in each quarter of the year. So let's be honest, nothing's really bad here with AMC. I mean, everything beat, everything came in better than expected. Now, when I sit and ask myself, was the stock priced for bad news? Yes, right? The stock has fallen a lot. It has not done well. Recently, it started to do a little bit better, but I don't think this recent kind of move higher from $3.58 per share to $5 per share that we seen right before earnings. This $1.50 move was pricing in a lot of good news. After all, last earnings, AMC was $11 and some change. So I don't think you were priced for perfection here. One of those situations where if, everything's just so good, the expectations are so high, you have to like blow people's socks off to get the stock to rise. Vice versa to the downside. If everyone's expecting terrible numbers, then all you got to do is not have disaster numbers and you'll do well. Long story short, what I'm trying to say here, AMC stock is down 9% at the time of recording this video because we did not so far get a commitment to not diluting shareholders. If Adam Aron says nothing about dilution, or maybe that they're going to have to dilute shareholders, maybe he even gives us something negative to throw on the fire here, then AMC stock will continue to fall. If Adam Aron gives us a commitment not to dilute shareholders on the earnings call for a period of 3 to 6 months, that would be my estimate, AMC stock will probably still go up 50% here in after hours. That's the simplest way to look at it. Do we get that or not? Because if we don't, it doesn't really matter what the numbers are. AMC is still going to be burning capital, still burning cash. They only have $800 and so million in the bank. And they got a lot of debt coming due in 2026. So I really think this move after the numbers have come out for AMC really doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scope of things. This is what I expected if we did not get that commitment to dilute shareholders in the initial kind of report, because there was nothing bad, right? There's no area in which AMC did poorly. So let's be honest there. AMC did just fine across the board. At one point, AMC stock was down about 20% in after hours, and I think the markets were like, hey, that's a bit of an overstretch, okay? But again, nothing. I mean, what's AMC really gonna do to knock your socks off, rock your world? Nothing, dude. That's just it. The theater business cannot give you anything that is substantial to, pay off $3 billion of debt by 2026. Who cares? We know what the box office is going to be like. We know what films are going to theaters and when they're going to theaters and how successful they're expected to be. Adam Aron needs to step up and give shareholders a commitment to not diluting them. If he does that, AMC stock will be rewarded favorably for that. If he does not, AMC stock is going to be down 9 or 10% tomorrow. That is precisely what I predicted before earnings. I actually said 5 to 10%. So this is in line, kind of on the higher side or the lower side, if you will, of my expectations. But I mean, that's the bottom line. Now, I am recording this video right at about the time the conference call should be starting. So, I'm making this video now because I think it's a pretty simple read through, right? If AMC stock is up big, that's because Adam Aron said they're not going to be diluting shareholders. If AMC stock continues to fall, that's because we did not get that commitment. And if we don't get that commitment, then there's no floor for AMC. I mean, it's the easiest short I've literally ever seen in my whole life. Company's going to sell stock. You should sell the stock. I mean, it's not a terrible idea to short AMC. If they're selling the stock, I mean, why would other investors not sell the stock either? Okay, just on a simple, trading perspective. I mean, it's pretty simple. So we will see. There is that. I do want to take this opportunity as well. And keep in mind, if there is anything that we get on the earnings call that is substantial or important, I will make a brief video on that later tonight and go over any new information that you need to know. But I don't know. I have a feeling we're probably not going to get any crazy news. So 5 to 10% down is not going to be super shocking coming tomorrow. Now, we do have some data coming out tomorrow as well. If AMC is down 5 to 10%. If this data does not go the way that the bulls would like, then maybe it's going to be a worse day tomorrow for AMC and even for the broader markets. Now, it's also important to know that in after hours, you had some really disappointing earnings that came out from CRM was kind of in line. That's Salesforce, but they dropped 4% in after hours. Okta, cybersecurity, went up 20%. But the big loser here in after hours is Snowflake, down 24%. This is kind of taking a little damper to the AI trade that the markets have been trading off of for a while. Snowflake, one of those AI stocks. Salesforce, one of those perceived AI stocks. Even C3 AI, I believe they are also down. No, C3 AI is actually up 15% in after hours. That is precisely what was priced in as well. But really, Salesforce, that's your big market cap name, a $300 billion company. And these guys are down, so it is pushing down the S&P about 0.25% here in after hours. So that's not a great precedent heading into tomorrow into the PCE report. Now, this is going to be pretty simple. Higher PCE is worse, lower PCE is better. Last month, PCE month over month came in at 0.2%. Keep that number in mind. You're expecting a month-over-month gain of 0.4%. Now, this is comparing to the last month. So if 0.2% was last month's number, if you come in at 0.4% higher than that, that's not great. That's showing inflation is probably reaccelerating. That's the expectation, is 0.4%, a 100% jump from last month. Now, the problem here is if we come in at like 0.5 or 0.6%, then you could be looking at a real problem for our markets, a big problem. Now, if we come in at 0.3%, lower than expected, that could be good news. Now, I'll tell you right now, the expectations being a 100% increase from last month, from 0.2% to 0.4%, expectations are high. So it wouldn't surprise me if we do come in at 0.3%, but on the off chance we get a really hot report like 0.5, 0.6%, yeah, markets are not going to like that at all. Now, we're also going to get personal income month over month. Last month was 0.3%, expecting 0.4%. You may be actually starting to see a small scale wage price spiral where employers are raising wages. They don't want to take the hit to margins. So what are they doing? They could be raising prices, not in a huge dramatic way. You're not seeing this huge wage price spiral everyone's talking about, but I do think if we are seeing a spike in inflation, that could be a reason why. Now, personal spending is expected to come in at 0.2% month over month. Last month was a gain of 0.7%. So when you have a gain of 0.7% on a month over month basis, even coming in at 0.2% is strong. Okay, because last month was so strong, you're coming in better than last month, but the percentage, it's not going to be that impressive. So it would be a slowdown. That's what we're forecasting. But as long as it's not like super negative or anything crazy, then I think all is fine there. Like, consider this on a month over month basis. If last month was 0.7%, you could come in at negative 0.7% and you would be net zero over the last 2 months. So even a negative 0.2, you'd still be net positive 0.5% over the last 2 months, right? Hopefully you understand that. But yeah, that's the data that we're going to get tomorrow. Now, you're also going to get Fed Bostic that speaks at 10:50 a.m. I can't leave out at 9:45 a.m. Chicago PMI comes out. 10 o'clock in the morning, pending home sales month over month and year over year. And then again, 10:50, you have Fed Bostic. 11 a.m., you have Fed Goolsbee that will be speaking. And then the Kansas Fed Composite Index will also be coming out at 11 o'clock in the morning. Fed Mester speaks at 1:15. She's a little bit more on the bearish side, so definitely keep that at one in mind. And then Fed Williams speaks at 8:10 p.m. tomorrow. And then some Chinese manufacturing PMI data will be coming out at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. So definitely going to have our hands full with tomorrow. I think that's why the markets have kind of been just treading water here, I guess is the right way to put it. Over the last couple of days, you really haven't done much of anything. The last 2 days specifically, you've just kind of, been sideways here. I think that's because everyone's waiting for that PCE report. And I do expect tomorrow markets could move quite large based on what that number is. AMC stock recovering a little bit as of right now as we are heading into the start of the conference call. AMC stock only down 8.82% now, and we'll see. Again, it's pretty straightforward. Do we get a commitment not to dilute shareholders? If we do, that's why AMC stock can rally in after hours. If we don't, AMC stock will continue to sell off, and AMC stock will be dead money for at least, the next period of time until we do get new information or that commitment. So we will see. Let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.